I wanted to get into Shamima Begum, and this I'm gonna do brief because I'm not gonna like watch loads of stuff. I just pulled up one news article. I haven't read anything or looked at the current story. I just saw the headlines. Obviously, I know what it is. That she has been denied her appeal for her citizenship. Obviously, my opinion as a lefty, as they will call me, is, well, not just as a lefty. I mean, it should be the opinion of anyone British. Yeah, anyone with any British citizen should respect that someone who was born here and like has a British citizenship should be protected by those by that citizenship and by those values. If they like were radicalized here, if that's what you're saying happened, then she should come here, and if there's any crimes to be charged, should happen here. I mean, that's obvious, right? That should be obvious. But with these kind of wrong-uns that I'm dealing with all the time, it's obviously not. So I actually just going to watch a news story on it, and I went for one from GB News, and this quote says, "Thank God for the Court of Appeal judges, well done." So let's see what they got to say about it.
Up next, it's Ben. Ben, what have you got for us tonight?
Right, this is going to be short and sweet. The nation breathed a sigh of relief yesterday as Shamima Begum's court bid to return to the UK after having her citizenship stripped was dismissed. Thank God for the Court of Appeal judges. Well done. As a reminder, Shamima Begum, she was the ISIS bride. She ran off to Syria in 2015 with her schoolmates, decided to join the terrorist death cult who, if you don't remember, burned people alive in cages, stoned women and children, behaved in the most barbaric way. Shamima had her...
But did she do any of that, is what I'm saying, though? Did she do any of that? Like, because she needs to be charged for her crimes. Because you're not even explaining what she's done. You're trying to like make it sound horrific and sound a certain way, but you're not actually addressing what she done, or even her husband, or even anything related to her in any way. Like, make the connection.
Her citizenship stripped. She's now languishing in a Syrian refugee camp. But my point is, she's now going to go with her Golden Goose lawyers to the Supreme Court to try and overturn that Court of Appeal decision bid yesterday.
Good.
And do you know who's going to pay for it? Me and you. Up to £5 million worth of legal aid is going to be spent if it reaches the Supreme Court, and even more if it goes to the European courts as well.
Good.
I say she is a British traitor. She's no longer technically British. We should not be paying a penny more of her legal aid when there's so much money needed and better causes here back in the UK. Benjamin?
I saw an interesting meme the other day, though, that was like, oh yeah, a lot of these people talk about money for asylum seekers getting and saying, oh, look after our English first. But those people literally don't care about it. When you actually get down to it, they don't do anything to help the English, don't care about the English either. So it's like, I think his citizenship should be stripped and he shouldn't be British anymore because he's not respecting the other people who are British.
Do you agree we should rid our hands of Shamima? No more legal aid. She needs to stay in that refugee camp in Syria.
1 second. Oh, King of Sting, though. King of Sting, if you're still out there, give me a comment, man. What do you think about Shamima Begum? Should she be allowed back? Should she be allowed her citizenship back?
And just spend the rest of her days there.
No, I don't, because although the price is high in terms of the cost of legal aid for a case going on this long, that is the price of a democracy and a functioning justice system to which we should all want to belong.
She's had justice.
Yes.
Because you don't know if you might end up in a situation where you can't afford to fight a case where there is a human rights question.
I'm sorry.
And the truth is that it's not a judgment to say that what she has done is right. What she's done is very, very wrong. But I think there is an inherent racism in the treatment of Shamima Begum.
Look at
that. Change the
You absolute
Because
joker.
the only way...
Look, these guys, they don't look. I've never watched GB News before. This might be the first time I'm ever watching it. But obviously, these guys are like the comment idiots on my page. That anytime you say the word racism, oh, he's got racism. He's got everything racism. It's like they literally just make it into a joke. You can't say that factual word to them and then break it down. They'll just literally use that to kind of mug you off.
They can legally attempt to justify taking away her British citizenship is because one of her parents was from Bangladesh. It is illegal
and they don't want her either
to leave somebody stateless. She is our responsibility our problem and should be in a
Benjamin,
British
sorry.
prison.
If she was Swedish or German or American and the same situation was happening, would you call that racist in that?
You wouldn't even hear about the case.
Or is it just because it's Bangladesh?
That wouldn't happen because there's no way we would try and send them to Sweden because they wouldn't accept.
Sorry, this is utter rubbish. Jack Letts, white male, got his British citizenship revoked because he joined ISIS before all of this. So white male happened to him. What are you talking about? It's about racism.
I wish I had the data ready for me right now, though, because she's pulled out the one token example. And there is a long list of white people who've been in that situation who have come back, and non-white people. There's been loads of them. So I don't know what on earth, like, you can't just pull out one example and try and make it into a thing, yeah? But there's definitely a lot more white people that have been let back. Like, it's a fact. I've seen whole studies on it before.
Every single person who joined ISIS who has dual citizenship should have it absolutely stripped.
She doesn't have dual citizenship, and it is based on a claim about her parents' birthplace for which she has no connection.
Which obviously the courts think is fair enough. British citizenship is precious. It is a privilege.
Right.
It is a privilege.
Not a privilege.
Let me finish. If you want to dilute it by having a dual citizenship and have allegiances to other country, have the privilege of working, voting, living in another country, there is also a cost.
Can I remind you?
And the cost
she
is
hasn't
if
done.
you commit serious crime on your bike, goodbye, you lose the privilege of British citizenship.
Can I remind you some of the things
God.
Shamima Begum has said?
And what serious crime has she committed? Because we're still not even listing one.
Since she escaped, so she calls it ISIS, she said that the Manchester Arena bombing was, quote, justified because of the way the West had behaved in the Middle East. She told a BBC reporter that she was attracted to join ISIS initially because of beheading videos. And then she also said that she was over the death of her 3 children. Does that sound like someone you want walking the streets?
I can't say if those things are true or not, or the context of them, and obviously these guys are going to manipulate that. But if those are the worst thing, and I've heard all of that before, but if that's the worst of what she's done, it sounds horrible. But I still didn't hear a crime listed. There was no criminal offence listed in any of that.
To Britain.
No, there's no question about whether what she did right or wrong, and I'm the only person on this programme who's had an interview with Shamima Begum where she said she regretted the things that she said in the past.
She did.
But this is a question for a justice system. It's not about whether what she did was right or wrong. It's about the fact that she has a right to British citizenship.
There is no justice because I tell you why there's no justice. Anyone who commits a crime on foreign soil will not get the justice that those poor Yazidi women deserve. They deserve their day in court with her in Syria because the laws in this land will give her a slap on the wrist and let her out in 6 months. So stop talking about justice.
Yeah, because she hasn't done any crimes.
Yazidi raped girls and the murdered Yazidi boys for Shamima Begum in this country.
The other week you were talking about why you oppose the death penalty, and yet you're effectively accepting it for her here. She may well be burned alive
Death
in her
penalty here?
tent.
That's a reach.
Because there's a serious risk that the place where she is in northern Syria, that she'll be killed alive.
She
in her
should have
tent.
gone there
Do you
then.
really think that would be an
She's
acceptable
fine.
form
Have
of
gone.
justice?
She shouldn't
You
have
sound
gone.
like ISIS. When you
Oh my God.
She went to
Benjamin.
join ISIS.
Yes.
She should reap what she sows. I'm glad that her citizenship has been revoked, quite frankly. And I speak as a person in a similar situation to Shamima Begum. I've got a claim to foreign citizenship. I don't have any problem with people like Shamima Begum.
Wait a minute, man said he's in a similar situation. Yeah, explain that properly real quick, man. Yeah, you got a dual citizenship, but no, you're not in that situation.
Ever being let in this country.
And do you know what? My
I
biggest
thought you were
concern
about
is...
to say you were a member of
And the mad thing is, yeah, that, you know, people are getting deported without doing anything what Shamima Begum's done. People are getting deported because they got dual citizenships and all sorts of stuff. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's mad. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because if that happens to him, are you still going to be sitting and thinking, oh yeah, I was right though?
ISIS. Actually, do you know what? I have absolutely no confidence that actually British justice
Won't do
would
justice.
stand up and say
I don't even
this
think there's a
person
law.
has time and again said that she does not regret everything that has
And
happened.
she'll be out on the streets in a couple of weeks if she
I
gets...
also find it really rich, by the way, that the Labour Party turn around and say, oh, she was only 15. They want to give 16-year-olds the vote.
And Brianna's killers were only 15 and they got sent away quite rightly for
My
life.
concern is how many more Shamima Begums are walking the streets of England right now.
Yo, I need to watch more GB News. That was hilarious. I mean, it's a serious issue, but that was a madness. Like all the little shots at the Labour Party and like, These lot are some simple humans, man. Some real simple humans. Captain Barrett said, I always assume nobody in GB News actually believes what they say, but these people seem to. Yeah, it seems like they could just be actors, innit? It could all just be a pantomime. The pantomime of politics as we know it. Yeah, anyway, man, I'm saying, free Shamima Begum, man. I'll say it with my chest, I don't give a shit. Let her come home, and yeah, let her go back in the streets, because yes, she was a child, and because yes, she said she regrets it, and yes, I can't see a crime. If she's done if there's a crime to charge her for, bring her and charge her, because at the moment it seems like this whole thing's been happening to her, and she's just like it's just they just use her as an example. So just running an example on her to create hate, innit? To make people like King of Sting write nonsense on the internet. And it's, you know, I hope, yeah, King of Sting seems to have vanished, but I wanted a comment from him, but I guess we move.